The First Descendant is another Korean game that proves gamers just want attractive characters within their titles. We want to look at things that are aesthetically pleasing. And now we're hearing Nexon give an official announcement saying they are bringing jiggle physics to the game. And of course, there are articles being written by the mainstream media who's saying that this is causing divide, even though it's not. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, obviously, The First Descendant is a game with a lot of eye candy. In a big way that it was marketed were with their very attractive feminine, beautiful female characters and the very hunky masculine men. This is a major marketing strategy that they've had ever since before release. That's how they caught people's eye, and then you actually played it and you found a really fun, enjoyable experience. And sure, the game's not perfect, the monetization's kind of poor, but ultimately, it's a fun title. And if you were playing The First Descendant, you knew that eye candy was a major factor for this game, and that's why the majority of people are praising the decision to actually add jiggle physics to the experience. But there are articles being published by outlets like N4G saying it's causing divide amongst fans when that really isn't the case. It says jiggle physics is a feature that a lot of games with female protagonists have, yeah, because breasts naturally jiggle, asses naturally jiggle. These are realistic things, may I add, especially Asian fighting games, it says. Yeah, because Western developers are too afraid to actually put jiggle physics in their titles because they don't want to be accused of being sexists. But it says it is a fact that the girls are way more popular characters in The First Descendant, so we can kind of count it as a female-led game, which is true. However, the movement of the ladies in the game did not have the pronounced jiggles that fans love, and time again they have requested jiggle physics from the developers. Well, it is happening. After months of requests, we finally have an official announcement from Nexon concerning the addition of jiggle physics to the title, and the developers did announce that they were going to implement this in the future. They didn't really say how or when, because they had only really just decided it a short while ago, as they say. But apparently, there's one or two people within their official Discord server who are a little bit upset over this. Somebody decided to say that this is catering to, quote, weirdos. Others are wary that this may go too far and are asking the devs to keep it as realistic as possible, like in Stellar Blade. Lastly, a lot of fans are asking, will this feature be toggleable? Now, I obviously understand there are people asking how this is going to be implemented, if it's going to be a slider, if it's going to be a toggle, if every single character is going to get it. And I do want to know the answer myself, but I think that this is certainly a feature that most people have wanted and have asked for. It's something I've seen as, someone who is part of this game's community, who has followed them on social media, who's talked about this game a plethora of times. I do think that it is a feature most people want. And for the couple of individuals who are saying this is catering to weirdos, you're in the wrong game, because this game has always been catered to people who simply love attractive looking characters, fun gameplay, and just a really good, solid experience in totality. Like, The First Descendant really has a lot going for it. And I think that this is a decision that is just going to be across the board appreciated. It seems like these developers, yes, are listening to their player base. They're actively trying to make their game better, and they really are just trying to give people exactly what they want and enhance the experience even further, which I think is fantastic. And tons of people are talking about this on social media, saying how great this really is. Haley Era had said they're adding jiggle physics to The First Descendant. I love Korean devs. They truly listen to their fans. I, as a woman, love to see attractive fictional female characters. It is more empowering to me to see a female character who is sexy and who is confident versus a manly Crimson Chin looking character. I love seeing these types of designs, and Korean devs truly understand the art of the eye candy, but they also understand the art of fantastic games in totality. This game has super fun gameplay. It's got really cool raid bosses. The areas and like the map designs are really unique. It's just a really good experience, and tons of people are praising them now, saying Jiggle physics, the sensitivity regime is getting the boot everywhere and it's glorious. And yeah, I mean, this article talks about how there's a community split, yet they only reference like two different posts. And that's it. That's not a community split. That is you looking specifically for people who are upset. You are cherry picking examples so you can write an article with a headline that this has become a controversial edition when that doesn't really appear to be the case. To me, it really just screams access media desperation. They are desperate to paint this game in a negative light. They want this game to be scrutinized. They don't want titles with this type of content to be released and to be normalized and to be loved and appreciated by gamers. So what do? They find a few examples of people complaining, even though they probably were the ones complaining and screenshotting it themselves. And then they're writing entire articles saying it's controversial when it's not. In a time when we are getting so many modern audience character designs, like in Concord, like in Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn, or Dustborn, it is important to sit and actually praise developers who are listening. Like, I've talked a few times now about the Stellar Blade and Near Automata collab. The 2B skin that they're adding into the game looks fan freaking tastic, and it really is just what gamers want to see. And finally, developers are actually listening to what we want. This is why I personally do tend to lean towards Korean games, and I have for a very long time. Like, I really enjoy Black Desert Online. I played that game, years before I even became a content creator online, and thought that that was fantastic. I still play it to this day. I think Stellar Blade is an amazing game. It's one of my favorite games to release this year. It's a super solid experience. The first Descendant is also really fun, and I'm not saying Korean devs are perfect by any means. They do create flops every once in a while, but they're still creating titles that people in totality want, and it's paying off for them. I mean, we had just heard that they have seen a boom in interest for their games, and when you see an image like this, right, you see these jiggle physics, it's really no shocker to understand why. Now, of course, over the next couple of days, I will be keeping my eye on the Access Media to see if they put up any hit pieces. It wouldn't shock me if Kotaku, The Gamer, Polygon decided to go on an all-out attack spree against the first Descendant and Nexon. So I will be, of course, talking about this, I'm sure, again in the future. I want to see how they are going to implement this and what their plans are for the future of the game, even past just jiggle physics, maybe even with some new costumes or characters. But for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.